afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Here are the Cohort Machinery capstone team, and today we'll be presenting on identifying key decision makers for the small customer sector. So to kick things off with introductions, I'll pass it over to Seamus.
Hello, my name is Seamus Benevin. My undergrad degree is in FinTech and Big Data Analytics. I'm currently looking for positions within the DoD.
My name is Jenna Feldman. My undergrad degree was in marketing management, and after this program, I'll be working in DC as a research associate.
My name's Lance Dalton. Sorry I couldn't be here today. My undergrad was in management consulting analytics, and I'll be working for a Carillion clinic as a financial analyst after graduating.
Hi, my name is Hannah Fennell. I got my undergraduate degree in fashion merchandising and design, and over the next year, I'll be living in Richmond, Virginia, working as a consultant as I work on my PhD research proposal.
And hi, my name is Julia Dixon. My undergraduate degree was in art history and digital marketing, and after graduation, I plan to get a job in marketing.
Before we dive into our work, we would like to thank our sponsor, Ross Hutchinson, and our faculty advisor, Dr. Shilpa Rao, for their continuous guidance and support over the last 9 months, and for really helping shape our project into what it is today. So to begin with our problem statement, it asks the key question of how can Cohort Machinery leverage their customer data to identify key decision makers and effectively target the small customer segment. Cohort already has a wealth of customer data. However, the absence of clear decision maker identifying information can make it difficult to tailor their marketing and communication strategies to the right people. That's why it is our priority as a team to centralize and add value to this data and to highlight key information such as the percent of customer purchases so it could be easily accessible to the marketing team. And with this goal in mind, our team established 3 main objectives to help guide our work over the course of the project. First was to clean and verify the customer data we were given to both help improve the overall quality of our data sets and to ensure that each variable was fully understood before it was used in our analysis. Our second objective was to create our key decision maker output system. This began with the merging of several data sets, and from there, we used Python and fuzzy matching to create our output. And our final objective was to ensure that our work supported email extraction so it could be easily implemented into Cohort's current mailing and marketing lists. And now I'll pass it over to Lance to go into our solutions.
Thank you, Jenna. Our project started with a major challenge. The contact data was messy, inconsistent, and sometimes full of small variations in names. To tackle this, we built a layered solution. First, we used an Excel formula to pre-clean contact names, stripping out prefixes, symbols, and inconsistencies. Then we used Python to apply fuzzy matching and phone number normalization, which let us group slightly different versions of the same person into one unified identity. For example, multiple misspellings of Jennifer Riley were all combined based on name similarity and shared phone numbers. This layered cleaning made a huge difference. We started with over 489,000 raw work order records. After grouping by true identity, we were able to reduce that down to about 21,000 unique decision makers. This gave us a much clearer picture of who's driving activity within each company. Using the clean data, we analyzed transactions shared by contact. We had Python calculate the percentage of work orders submitted by each person within a company and found that some individuals were responsible for the vast majority of activity. Our accuracy came out to about 96% for name grouping and 93% for purchase percentages, making it a reliable tool for strategic decision making. I will now pass it off to Seamus to talk about our insights.
Thank you, Lance. Now that our data has been cleaned and merged, we are able to create dashboards in Tableau. We created multiple dashboards, but today we'll be only going over the work order purchases. These dashboards offer a clean and professional view of decision makers, company information, and contact information, allowing for easy decision maker identification. These dashboards are also easily adjustable and updated. Here's a closer look at our work order purchases dashboard. On the left, you can see names and purchase percentages, and on the right is the raw data, adding company information, contact information, and identification numbers. Above the raw data are 2 filters. One allows for filtering by company, and the other allows for filtering by percent of purchase. Highlighted by the red circle here is the primary contact of this company, as they're making the highest amount of purchases. So, how can Cohort Machinery better leverage customer data to identify key decision makers? In the short term, Cohort will be able to leverage the KDM, also known as Key Decision Maker Output System, to better target and create email lists for their smaller customers. Since much of this cleaning is automated, it will be simple to update these lists. In the long term, we recommend a large focus on cleaning many of the data files. This will allow many more variables to be accessible when trying to locate key decision makers. From here, using the KDM output system, you will be able to merge these files into one singular data set, and in the future, potentially use machine learning to even further understand these smaller customers. I'll now pass it off to Hannah to go over the final thoughts.
Thank you, Seamus. First, starting with economic benefits, we have efficiency-driven cost reduction and long-term ROI. Currently, many employees spend their time on low-value repetitive tasks for multiple hours a week, including looking through multiple CRMs, missing information, or missing data. But with data integration, this time can then be reallocated, thus increasing productivity without increasing headcount. In short, Carter isn't just solving today's problems, but giving their employees the tools for scalable, sustainable growth. Next, we have the untapped revenue segment and client lifetime value. With accurate unified data, employees are better able to drive upselling and cross-selling, and thus increasing revenue and conversion rates. Together, Carter isn't just looking for new customers, but maximizing the relationships that they currently have. Now we have our key recommendations. First, we recommend implementing clear collection protocols across all customer touchpoints to ensure consistency in reporting. We also recommend monitoring data quality and scheduling regular cleansing to reduce errors and redundancies. We also recommend focusing on customers who do the most purchasing within their organization, because they'd be most likely to be a key decision maker, and this percentage can be found next to the contact's name on our output. We also recommend documenting the customer's role at initial meeting to further enrich the data. Now I'm going to pass it off to Julia to go over some program comments.
Thanks, Anna. Well, this marks the end of our time here on the MSBA-BA program, and I couldn't be more proud of our team and all that we accomplished this year. We were given quite a tricky problem 9 months ago, and I'm very proud of how we handled it while also juggling our heavy coursework, our individual work, and my travel schedule. One piece of advice that I'd give for the next cohort would be to embrace adversity and embrace the roadblocks that people will come across. Because for us, what we experienced was that those roadblocks were the moments where we were able to learn how to truly problem solve gracefully on a team. We also want to thank Jennifer Riley and the rest of the CBA team for your support and guidance throughout this program, as well as our sponsor, Rossi Hutchison and Carter Machinery, for allowing us to learn from their data. But with that, we'd like to thank you for listening, and we'll now open up the floor to any questions.
How easy would it be for you to take what you've already done and turn it into buyer personas? Or use that to go out and target new customers?
That's a really good question. I think it would be relatively easy. You could use segmentation. You could use K-needs clustering for that, using the variable of the highest percent purchase the output that we got. You can use that in K-needs clustering and further segment your customers out. What happens when new data comes?
So we created two manuals, one for Tableau and one for Python. And these manuals give a step-by-step guide for Carter to figure out how to do this, but it is as simple as in Tableau, just editing the connection, and in Python, just changing the file paths.